begin here this morning with reports that 10 humanitarian corridors will open in eastern Ukraine today to allow civilians to escape an expected major Russian offensive. But if the past is any indicator, that plan may not hold. Ukrainian officials say the war is escalating with no let-up in the targeting of civilians. The shock of Friday's deadly missile strike in a crowded railroad station in eastern Ukraine is still reverberating. At least 52 people were killed and dozens hurt in what Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is calling, quote, another Russian war crime. He wants a tough global response for the attack. Russia denies responsibility for the carnage. Debora Patta reports from the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv on what's shaping up to be the next pivotal battle in the war, with a new Russian general calling the shots. Debora, good morning.
Good morning. The Russians may have lost the battle for Kyiv, but they are redoubling their efforts along the eastern front in a bid to seize Donbass. Ukrainian officials have been warning residents to flee the area, which is why so many civilians had gathered at this rail station in a bid to board trains to safety before this latest attack.
Around 4,000 civilians were at the train station when suddenly it exploded. The strike was not only deadly, it was personal. The Russian missile inscribed with the words, "For the children." Among those killed, women, the elderly, and the very young. This was clearly not a military target. Another entry on the growing list of Russian atrocities. But those who've been fighting Russian-backed separatists in the Donbass region say they know what Russia is capable of. Senior Lieutenant Starsky, that's his military call sign, was there.
We spent 8 years learning to fight specifically against Russians. So they made a big mistake.
You knew how they fought?
Yes. We knew that by destroying their logistics and supplies, they will not be able to fight efficiently against us.
And that's exactly what happened when Russia struck Hostomel airport near Kyiv on the first day of their invasion. Starsky watched Russian paratroopers spill onto the tarmac. At least 35 helicopters attempted to take over the airport.
I was running between this and that entrance, firing at those helicopters.
Starsky and his unit mounted a fierce resistance over 3 days. Then an improbable victory. The Ukrainians wrested back full control of the airport.
Nobody really, honestly, thought Ukraine could do it at one point. You were really the underdog, weren't you?
Surprise.
Without it, the Russians could not set up an air bridge to bring in crucial supplies and manpower. This slowed troops down, preventing them from advancing on Kyiv.
And later we realized that actually what we have done here actually changed the course of the war.
But the war could take another turn. It's understood the Kremlin has reorganized its military leadership, and a Russian general with extensive experience in Syria has been put in charge of operations in Ukraine. For CBS Saturday Morning, Debora Patta, Kyiv.